Hello everyone, and welcome back to Whispers of Turkish Stars. I hope you're feeling wonderful today, because we're diving into a topic that has everyone whispering, guessing, and refreshing their feeds: the rumor mill surrounding Alina and Alp Navruz. There's talk of strain, of silence, of an invisible wall building quietly between two faces we've watched with admiration and curiosity. Tonight, we're pulling at the threads of that speculation, checking the signs fans swear by, and asking the question that's driving all the buzz. Are Alina and Alp truly at odds, or is the noise simply louder than the truth? Take a breath, settle in, and if you haven't yet joined our community, hit subscribe so you don't miss a single heartbeat of what's unfolding. Let's be real. Fame magnifies everything. When it's a pair who manage to ignite a fandom the way Alina and Alp have, a spark doesn't stay a spark, it becomes a wildfire. They were seen together, they were linked, and even without a formal label, the energy between them felt impossible to ignore. On set, off set, in casual snapshots and side glances, the chemistry read as unmistakable. Fans held on to that hope. They built daydreams around it. And when the story felt like a fairy tale in the making, every new photo or comment became another page in that imagined book. But lately, the tone has shifted. Social media chatter, gossip sites, and the relentless cheeky captions of the tabloids have been charging the air with talk of tension, of friction, even of a discreet falling out. That's what we're here to unpack. What exactly changed? How did a soft focus story turn into a riddle? And is there a real issue at the center? Or just the echo of 1,000 voices guessing its shadows? To make sense of it, we have to rewind. Alina and Alp Navruz crossed paths professionally on a hit romantic drama that arrived at just the right time, when viewers were craving connection and storytelling that made them forget the world outside. From the moment their characters collided on screen, the spark was undeniable. Scenes of stolen smiles and slow-burn glances trended fast, and clips of them together circulated like love letters to a couple that might be more than fiction. The show soared, and so did the pairing, as behind-the-scenes teasing and shared laughs offered glimpses of something that felt authentic. They didn't define it, and that ambiguity only fed the fascination. Then came the sightings that turned whispers into roars. Travel photos that looked like aligned itineraries. Family gatherings that seemed to include one or the other. A cozy familiarity that didn't demand explanation but felt like one. Fans were elated. It was the kind of storyline people root for because it looks effortless, like two people meeting in the right chapter at the right time. But if there's one constant in the entertainment world, it's that nothing stays simple for long. Gradually, their joint moments grew sparse. Public appearances weren't as regular. The cute cross comments slowed, then stumbled, and finally, started to vanish. That's when the narrative began to turn. Rumors hardened into theories. The word tension started appearing more often, as if the distance itself were evidence. One widely repeated idea is that the strain has a professional origin. There's chatter that Alp has been leaning into darker, riskier roles, eager to push boundaries and chase scripts that demand transformation, while Alina may be more drawn, for now, to projects with strong commercial appeal, the kind that weave romance with accessible drama and find huge, devoted audiences. If true, that difference in creative trajectory could create friction. Imagine two stars poised at the peak of their power, both ambitious, both passionate, yet envisioning the road ahead in distinct colors. When there's a personal bond layered over that, even a little disagreement might echo louder than intended. Another thread of speculation points to pressure from the outside. Agencies, contracts, brands, scheduling, the chessboard of publicity. This industry never stops moving, and it rarely pauses to ask how anyone feels. Maybe one of them sensed a mismatch in how the other handled the spotlight. Maybe the calendars turned into battlegrounds, where private moments were constantly stolen by obligations. It doesn't have to be dramatic to be damaging. Sometimes long stretches of almost available time hurt more than a clean no. Of course, there's the most tantalizing kind of rumor, the personal one. Whispers of jealousy. A misunderstanding that grew legs. A friend of a friend who wanted to be more than that. And in every version, there's always someone hovering at the edges. The colleague who fans the flames by accident or on purpose, the strategist who knows controversy sells, the bystander who frames a narrative with a single offhand comment. The media plays along, magnifying hints into headlines. Truth becomes a guest in its own story. Worth noting, neither Alina nor Alp has stepped forward to lay out a conflict. Their words, when they appear, are careful and measured, respectful of boundaries. When breakup talk bubbled up earlier, they pushed back on the extremes without detailing what they were or weren't to each other. That kind of restraint reminds the world that some things belong to the people living them. But it also leaves space for guesswork. Silence can be a sanctuary, and also an empty room where rumors shout the loudest. Even so, in the small details fans track like constellations, patterns seem to have shifted. For a long while, Instagram told a quiet story. Likes that arrived fast, playful comments tucked under photos, a caption that felt like an inside wink. Then, suddenly, that rhythm broke. The pause stretched. Posts went by without any trace of the other. To many, that absence wasn't benign, it felt like a sign. When there's no official statement, people look for proof in the negative space. Their recent professional choices amplified that reading. Alp has stepped into roles with heavier themes and intense emotional arcs, crafting a moodier artistic profile that sets him apart. Meanwhile, Alina has kept exploring roles that blend romance with modern complications, the kind of characters audiences see themselves in and fall in love with week after week. That divergence isn't a conflict by nature, but combined with the quieter public bond, it became another dot for people to connect. Then there was the moment fans won't stop referencing. A major public event they attended separately, days apart on the calendar, or hours apart in the gossip timeline depending on who's telling it. Cameras found them both. What they didn't find was warmth. The footage that circulated showed polite smiles with edges. No lingering glances, no easy shoulder touch, none of the effortless rhythm that once felt like its own language. Witnesses used words like distant and formal. Maybe the lens exaggerated it. Maybe it didn't. In a world that reads body language like scripture, that's all it took. It's also very possible that nothing dramatic broke, only time. People change. What begins as a bright, pulsing connection can mellow into a quiet understanding, or move, with grace, into friendship. Sometimes two people choose distance not out of anger, but as a mutual decision to protect what was good. Love stories are not failures when they evolve, they're human. And when that evolution happens under flashing bulbs, the cleanest exit is often the softest one, the kind with no pronouncements and no grand speeches. The hardest part of all this is the way we read it. Fans have poured their hearts into Alina and Alp's story. Every update, every still, every press snippet gets placed under a microscope. For some, a missing like is a red flag. For others, a busy schedule is the answer. The truth is that everything we see from the outside is filtered through algorithms, editors, publicists, and our own hopes. Paparazzi wait for the one photo that can be framed 100 different ways, and headlines don't always aim for nuance. That is the ecosystem where this uncertainty has grown. Still, the fact that rumors haven't faded says something. Maybe the perception of their closeness has shifted. Maybe the audience has adjusted the narrative from sure thing to question mark. People are asking not where Alina and Alp are together, but whether they are together at all. The tension in our title isn't necessarily a fight in a green room or a slammed door. It's the pressure that comes from not knowing, from hearing too many versions of a story without a narrator to confirm the plot. For fans, this uncertainty hurts. They wanted the dream, and they invested in it with loyalty and affection. There's a particular disappointment in watching a beloved pairing cool, even if it's only cooling on the surface. For Alina and Alp, the consequence is that every silence speaks for them and every movement gets translated 100 ways. That kind of scrutiny is heavy. It turns ordinary choices into statements and routine distance into speculation. If we gather the threads, the picture looks like this. Fewer public interactions, a slowdown in mutual engagement online, choices that place them on diverging creative paths, and a powerful rumor machine humming at full volume. None of that proves a feud. But it does feed a narrative of distance. Without direct commentary, theories multiply. The result is a fog where feeling becomes fact simply because it's repeated enough times. So where does that leave us? In a place that asks for patience. Maybe they are navigating a new phase, privately and with care. Maybe the story people want simply isn't the story they're living right now. Or maybe, as has happened many times in this industry, they're letting their work speak while they sort the rest quietly. Whatever the truth is, it belongs to them first. And that's where we'll close for today on Whispers of Turkish Stars. Tell me what you think in the comments. Do you feel a real shift between Alina and Alp, or is this just the sound of the rumor mill spinning too hard? What moments stood out to you, and which do you think were misread under harsh lights? I'm eager to hear your theories. If this deep dive resonated with you, tap like, share it with a friend who's been following every twist, and don't forget to subscribe so you're here for the next chapter, whatever it may be.